Arne Slot has been sacked by Liverpool Football Club. That is the confirmed reality as of today, the 30th of May, 2026. Not rumoured, not speculated, confirmed. The Premier League title-winning manager who guided Liverpool to their first championship in years has been shown the door after a disastrous follow-up season. And within hours of that news breaking, Mohamed Salah, the man who publicly declared his departure from the club, has called an urgent meeting with his agent. Let that sink in for a moment. The same player who criticised his manager on multiple occasions throughout the season. The same player who said his relationship with Slot was broken. The same player who fired a parting shot at the club after their 4-2 loss to Aston Villa, urging Liverpool to return to what he called the heavy metal football of Jurgen Klopp. That same player is now calling an urgent meeting with his agent following the news of Slot's exit. Something has shifted inside Liverpool Football Club. And today, we're going to break it all down. Before we go any further, I want you to understand what is truly at stake here for Liverpool. This is not just a managerial change. This is a full restructuring moment for one of the biggest football clubs in the world. If Liverpool handle this badly, if they lose Salah permanently, if they appoint the wrong manager, if they allow key players like Curtis Jones and Andy Robertson and Ibrahima Konate to walk out of the door without a clear plan in place, then the damage to this football club could take years to repair. The consequences of getting this wrong are enormous. And if you want this level of deep analysis on stories that truly matter to Liverpool Football Club, hit that subscribe button right now. Victor Liverpool Analyst is the channel where we break down what is actually happening using only verified information, giving you the full picture every single time. Now let us get into it step by step, detail by detail. Fabrizio Romano confirms Slot's farewell. 4 hours ago, transfer expert Fabrizio Romano posted an exclusive update on his social media. The message was clear and direct. Arne Slot says goodbye to Liverpool fans. In Slot's own words, he said, and I am reading this carefully so you hear exactly what was said, "It has been an amazing ride together with Liverpool. I am so grateful that we were able to win the league last season." Now that is important. Those are the words of a man who has been told his time is over. There is no anger in that statement. There is no bitterness publicly visible. But the reality is that Slot did not choose to leave. Liverpool chose to end his tenure after conducting an end-of-season review. And that review led to a decision that shocked many people inside and outside the club. Because here is what makes this situation so remarkable. Slot won the Premier League title in his very first season at Liverpool. That is not something managers do every day. That is an exceptional achievement. And yet, 1 season later, he has been sacked. The question every Liverpool supporter is asking right now is simple. What went wrong? And the answer, based on everything that has come to light today, involves a breakdown in relationships, a breakdown in football identity, and a breakdown in the dressing room culture at Anfield. What academy staff were saying about Slot privately. Here is something that has come out today that deserves serious attention. The Anfield Edition account, citing journalist David Lynch, has reported that academy staff at Liverpool were privately sharing frustration about Arne Slot throughout the season. The frustration was specific. Staff felt that Slot did not seem to be immersing himself in all things Liverpool. He was rarely paying attention to the goings-on at the club. He was not embedding himself into the culture and identity of the institution. Now think about what that means. Anfield is not just a football club in the ordinary sense. Liverpool Football Club has a culture, an identity, a way of doing things that runs deep. When Jurgen Klopp arrived, he became Liverpool. He absorbed everything about the club and gave everything back to the fans. The supporters felt that connection. The players felt it. The staff felt it. With Slot, according to these reports, that immersion never happened. The reports suggest this attitude was reflected in 3 specific ways. First, the training schedule he implemented. Second, his frequent holidays during the season. Third, and perhaps most symbolically, the fact that his family remained in the Netherlands throughout his entire tenure at Liverpool. When your family never moves with you to the city where you work, it sends a signal. It is not necessarily a criticism of Slot as a person, but it is a clear indication that this was not a total commitment to the Liverpool project in the way the club needed it to be. And those inside the club noticed. The academy staff noticed, and now the club's ownership group has made their decision. The Salah situation, from conflict to possible U-turn. Now we come to the story that has genuinely stunned the football world today. Mohamed Salah and his future at Liverpool. Let me give you the full picture of what has happened between Salah and Slot this season, because understanding this conflict is essential to understanding why Slot's sacking could now change everything. Back in December, Salah publicly criticized Slot for the first time. He accused the club of throwing him under the bus. He said his relationship with Slot was broken. That was not a quiet private disagreement. That was a public declaration of war between a player and his manager. It sent shockwaves through the Premier League. Over the course of the season, the tension only grew. Slot felt forced to respond publicly to Salah's consistent criticism and aimed a swipe at the winger in the weeks that followed. Then, after Liverpool's 4-2 defeat to Aston Villa, Salah made his most pointed attack yet. He posted publicly urging Liverpool, a club he described as crumbling, to return to the heavy metal football of Jurgen Klopp. That was a direct and unmistakable criticism of Slot's style and identity as a manager. And then came the announcement that Salah would leave Liverpool this summer. His contract situation was resolved. The club and the player had decided to part ways. The final year of his contract was to be torn up. Mohamed Salah, after years of brilliance at Anfield, was leaving. Or so we thought, because now, just hours after Slot's sacking was confirmed, the Liverpool news account, citing source Iraola, has reported that Salah has called an urgent meeting with his agent. The reason? To discuss Slot's exit and what it means for his own future. And Matchday Central, again citing Iraola, followed that up with a report stating clearly that Salah could be set for a sensational return to Liverpool after Slot's exit. The Egyptian star, according to this report, is said to be willing to come back if Liverpool approach him. Now, I want to be clear with you. This is being reported as a rumour and a developing situation. It is not confirmed. Salah has not made a public statement. No deal has been agreed. No official announcement has been made. What we know for certain is that Salah has called his agent for an urgent meeting, and that sources close to him are suggesting he is open to staying if the club reaches out. But here is the analysis. The entire foundation of Salah's decision to leave was rooted in his conflict with Slot. The broken relationship. The disagreement over football style. The sense that Slot's approach did not align with what made Liverpool great. If you remove Slot from the equation, then you remove the primary reason Salah chose to go. And there is more context here. Fabrizio Romano himself addressed the Salah situation in relation to Slot's sacking. Romano specifically highlighted Salah's social media post from a few weeks ago, the post where he questioned Liverpool's direction and called for a return to heavy metal football. Romano noted that this post was hugely impactful. What Salah said about Liverpool's style and identity resonated strongly, with many Liverpool players liking, sharing, and agreeing with it. Think about the significance of that detail. Multiple Liverpool players publicly aligned themselves with Salah's criticism of Slot. This was not just one frustrated player venting. This was a significant portion of the dressing room signaling their disagreement with the manager's approach. That kind of internal division is extremely difficult to recover from, and it clearly played a role in the club's decision to remove Slot. Salah's influence on this outcome cannot be understated. And now, with Slot gone, the door is at least partially open for a conversation about whether Salah stays. The numbers behind Salah's season and why they matter. Now, to be fair and accurate in this analysis, it would be wrong to only discuss Salah's potential return without addressing the reality of his season on the pitch. Because the numbers this year were not what Liverpool supporters are used to seeing from their Egyptian king. Salah recorded the worst Premier League goals tally of his entire Liverpool career in the 2025 to 2026 season. He scored just 7 times in the league, 7 goals. For a player who has consistently been among the top scorers in the Premier League for nearly a decade, 7 goals is a significant drop in output. Former players took notice. Paul Scholes, the legendary Manchester United midfielder, went as far as saying that Sir Alex Ferguson would have drop-kicked Salah if he were the manager. Scholes' former teammate Gary Neville also said he would have been furious if a Manchester United player had behaved the way Salah did throughout the season. Those are harsh words from respected football figures. And the criticism of Salah's behaviour is fair to acknowledge. His public disputes with Slot were not universally praised. Many felt a player of his experience should have handled internal disagreements differently. But here is the analytical perspective. The question of whether Salah's poor goal return was a result of his conflict with Slot, or whether his conflict with Slot was partly a result of his poor performances and frustrations, is genuinely difficult to separate. What is clear is that the two things happened simultaneously. The tension with Slot grew alongside the dip in Salah's numbers. Whether one caused the other is something only those inside the dressing room truly know. Curtis Jones, a player whose future just changed. Let us now talk about a player whose situation has shifted significantly following today's news. Curtis Jones. Fabrizio Romano has addressed the question of Jones's future directly, and the picture he paints is one of genuine uncertainty. According to Romano, Jones's future could now be one to watch following Slot's departure. The situation with Jones under Slot was specific. While there was always mutual respect between the pair on a personal level, Jones was largely viewed as a backup option under Slot. He was not a first-team regular. He was not a priority. And it was that lack of trust and playing time that led Jones to consider joining Inter Milan in January. He ultimately stayed. But the desire to leave was real and the frustration was real. Now, with Slot gone, everything changes. A new manager could see Jones completely differently. He could become a central figure under the next regime. Or if the new manager shares a similar view to Slot, Jones may still seek a move. What is confirmed is that his future is genuinely uncertain. Salah's potential return gets all the headlines. But Curtis Jones is another subplot in this Liverpool summer that supporters need to watch closely. Andy Robertson, Ibrahima Konate, and the bigger exodus risk. It is not just Salah and Jones whose futures are unclear. The sacking of Slot could also have ripple effects on other players who were reportedly considering leaving. Andy Robertson, Liverpool's experienced left-back, has been rumoured to be leaving this summer. It has been reported that Robertson has an agreement in principle to join Tottenham Hotspur this summer. That is a significant development. Robertson has been a Liverpool stalwart for years, and losing him would represent another departure of a key figure. Ibrahima Konate is also rumoured to be leaving the club. Konate is one of Liverpool's most important defensive players, and the idea of losing him alongside Robertson and potentially Salah in the same summer would represent an enormous rebuild challenge for whoever comes in as the next manager. These are confirmed rumours, not completed transfers. But the situation is clear. Liverpool face a summer where multiple high-profile departures are possible, and the appointment of the right manager becomes even more critical in that context. Andoni Iraola, the next Liverpool manager. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed it. Andoni Iraola is set to become the next Liverpool manager. The decision has been made. Negotiations are moving forward quickly to complete the formal steps. But as Romano stated clearly, Liverpool's decision is made. Iraola will be the next manager. So who is Andoni Iraola, and what does his arrival mean for Liverpool? Based on what has been reported today, Hughes already has a strong working relationship with Iraola, having previously appointed him at Bournemouth. Liverpool believe Iraola can get the team back to playing an exciting, attacking brand of football. The kind of football that Slot was criticised for moving away from. And here is a detail worth paying very close attention to. Antoine Semenyo, a Bournemouth player who worked directly under Iraola, has spoken about what it is like to be managed by him. His words paint a picture of an extremely demanding coach. Semenyo said that when Iraola arrived at Bournemouth, he had his way of playing, and it was very new to everyone. He described a training schedule with no days off. Absolutely nothing. Semenyo explained that having Wednesdays and Sundays off was simply not possible under Iraola. Players would play on Saturday and then train on Sunday. And those in the starting 11 would be expected to do the first 30 to 40 minutes of the session the very next day, with their legs already gone from the match. Semenyo's exact description of that experience was simple and honest. He said players were hanging, legs gone, doing possession work, having to run around, thinking, "Oh dear." Now take that picture and place it alongside what Salah said about Liverpool needing to return to heavy metal football. Take it alongside what academy staff said about Slot's relaxed approach to training and his frequent holidays. The contrast could not be more stark. Iraola is the opposite of what Slot brought. He is intense. He is demanding. He does not give days off. He immerses himself fully in the work. Whether his family moves with him remains to be seen. But his football philosophy, based on everything shared today, is closer to what the Liverpool dressing room was calling for. And if you believe that Salah genuinely wants Liverpool to return to that style of play, and his own words suggest he does, then Iraola's appointment could be the deciding factor in whether the Egyptian king chooses to extend his stay at Anfield. Liverpool's official response and what it tells us. Following the sacking, Liverpool's ownership group released a statement. The statement paid tribute to Slot as a title-winning manager and insisted that his legacy will stay intact. That is a classy and measured response from the club's hierarchy. But behind that classy statement lies a very significant decision. Fenway Sports Group, the ownership group, had been widely expected by top Liverpool sources to back Slot this summer. The expectation was that despite a difficult second season, FSG would give Slot time and resources to rebuild. That did not happen. FSG conducted their end-of-season review and reached a different conclusion. The conclusion was that a change was necessary. And given everything that has come to light today about dressing room tensions, Salah's conflict, academy staff frustrations, and the performances on the pitch, it is not difficult to understand why that conclusion was reached. The bookmakers have Iraola as the strong favourite to take the role. His odds, as things stand, reflect the confidence that Romano's confirmation has created. Luis Enrique, the Paris Saint-Germain manager, has also been mentioned as a possible alternative. But based on Romano's reporting, the decision is already made. Iraola is the man. Let me now bring all of this together for you because the full picture of what is happening at Liverpool today is genuinely extraordinary. Arne Slot, a Premier League title-winning manager, has been sacked after 1 year of a difficult follow-up season. His sacking came after a season defined by a public breakdown with Mohamed Salah, internal frustrations among staff, and performances that led to a 4-2 defeat at Aston Villa and a poor overall campaign. Salah, who had declared his departure from the club, has now called an urgent meeting with his agent. Sources close to him suggest he is willing to return if Liverpool approach him. The conflict with Slot was the core reason Salah chose to leave. With Slot now gone, that reason no longer exists. Curtis Jones, who was largely a backup under Slot and considered joining Inter Milan in January, now faces an uncertain future that could go in a completely different direction under the new manager. Andy Robertson has been reported to have an agreement to join Tottenham Hotspur. Ibrahima Konate is also rumoured to be leaving. Liverpool face a summer of significant squad uncertainty. And cutting through all of it, Andoni Iraola, the man who built Bournemouth into a high-intensity, no days off, heavy metal-style team, has been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano as Liverpool's next manager. The decision is made. The negotiations are moving forward quickly. Iraola is coming to Anfield. The summer of 2026 is going to be one of the most consequential in Liverpool Football Club's recent history. The decisions made in the coming weeks, on Salah, on the squad, on the new manager's contract and budget, will shape this club for years to come. And if you want to follow every development, every confirmed update, every piece of deep analysis on exactly what is happening at Liverpool, then make sure you are subscribed to Victor Liverpool Analyst. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, because this story is far from over, and we will be here every step of the way, breaking it down for you with accuracy, clarity, and the full picture every single time.